Okay, so we're gonna go over last night's homework. So Wednesday's homework. I'm gonna skip find the sum just for the use of time. And even for find the product, we had 840 times 70. So if you crossed off your zeros, all you had to do is 84 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 8 is 56, 57, 58. And then don't forget, if we crossed off 2 zeros, we need to put both of them back. So we get 58,800. Okay. For the next part, I'm going to look at, I printed off the little paper here so we can look at it together. So we're measuring this line to the nearest fourth of an inch. So remember, that could be the half mark. It could be one of the fourth marks. Remember, we cut it into 4 pieces, cut this 1 whole inch into fourths, so 4 pieces. So to me, it looks like this line matches up exactly with this mark right here. So think about which of our fraction marks that is. If it's the half mark, if it's one of the fourth marks, if it's a whole inch, looks to me like it's exactly half of an inch because it's not any whole inches this time. And then this one, oh my gosh, so easy, right? Look, it matches up perfectly with a whole inch, so 1 whole inch. Too easy for you. Okay, and now we can look at graphing these points. So remember, you go over and then you go up. So 1, 1, you go over to 1, up to 1, put a dot. Over to 1, up to 4, put a dot. Over 1, up 4, and then connect them. 2, 3, over to 2, up to 3, put a dot. 3, 4, over to 3, up to 4. 4, 3, over to 4, up to 3 this time. 5, 4, over to 5, up to 4. 5, 1, so over to 5, up 1. 4, oh, connect that. 4, 0 would be over to 4 and then up 0, so you don't go up at all. You stay on the line, on the x-axis. 2, 0, again, go over to 2, but don't go up at all. And then back to 1, 1. And there you have a little tulip. Okay, let's look at putting those numbers in order. We have 1 and 3/4. We have 1 and, oh man, that would be 1 and 8 thousandths, right? We have 1 and 5/10 and 1 and 25 hundredths. So it looks like all of these have a 1 in the ones place. So unlike yesterday when we could kind of figure out which one went where, we're gonna have to do some more careful looking at the parts of the numbers, not the whole numbers, right? So let's see. When I'm looking at these numbers and I'm thinking about something I know, I'm thinking I know something about this number. Can you think about what you already know about 1 and 5/10? Hopefully you recognize that that is half. So 1 and a half, or we could also say, I know that's 1 and 5/10 as a decimal. Hopefully you know all of those are the same. I think maybe that would be our best strategy, is thinking decimal, since these are already decimals. So to make it match, let's put zeros on the end. This goes to the thousandths. How about we put 2 zeros? Well, this one already has thousandths. So all we have to do is look at this one, 1 and 3/4. So hopefully you remember 3/4 is one that we know by heart. If you think about money, think about 3/4 out of 4 quarters. So 1 and what? How much is 3/4? It'll be 75, right? And then you put your 0 on so that we all have thousandths numbers. So which of those would be the smallest? Since they're all 1, really we're just looking at 750, 8, 500, or 250. So 8 would be the smallest. And then 250. And then 1 and 5/10. And last 1 and 3/4. I think you probably could have done that without turning them all into decimals, knowing that this was a really small one. This is a fourth or a quarter. This is 3/4, so this one's bigger than this one. And I think that's it. I mean, like, if you know that this is smaller than half, this is bigger than half, I don't even know if you had to do all of the stuff that I did, if you could just really carefully reason through the whole thing. Okay. And then finally, let's look at the bar graph, which I also printed because it's hard to draw my own. So it looks like if we preview this graph, it's all about pets that people own. Maybe these pets these friends own, and they own a lot of fish or a lot of birds or both. And so we're comparing how many pets the friends own and comparing how many, like what types of pets they have. Okay, so let's look at the first question. Which friend showed the greatest difference between the number of fish and the number of birds owned? Okay, so the greatest difference, how different the bars are basically, right? So when I look at the bars, see these bars are not that different. It looks like 2 to 4, so that would be a difference of 2. This one, again, a difference of 2. This one looks like they're really different. Like even though difference means subtract, it also just means different. So how different are the bars? Wow, well, these are really different. These are really different, right? And we can name the difference by counting. So 2 to 8, so 2, 4, 6 different. And then this one was 2 all the way to 10, so that's a difference of 8. So based on this information, I think you can figure out which friend had the greatest difference between the number of fish and the number of birds they owned. I'm not going to tell you every answer. Okay, which friend owned the most pets? Well, we can see that these guys both had a lot of, what is that, fish? But it's not just asking about fish, it's asking about pets. So what would we need to do in order to figure out who owned the most pets? We need to find the total pets, right? Well, I think we can rule out Jim because he didn't have very many of either. And maybe these guys, so let's see. So 10 and 8, so Mike had 18 pets. Bob had 8 and 2, so he only had 8 pets. So yeah, I mean, Bob's out. And then Pete had 10 and 2, so he had 12 pets. So I think it's pretty clear that Mike had the most bars. His bars were the largest, so he owned the most pets. So Mike did. How many pets did all the friends own together? Wow, so we have to count up all of their pets all together. So we can kind of use what we already did. We said Mike had 18, Pete had 12. We said he had 8, 9, 10. And Jim had 2, 4, 6. So we need to add all of those numbers together. Remember, not in one big long line because that's not a good strategy. Find ones that go together. So I would probably add 18 and 12 because I know that 8 and 2 is 10. So 10 and 10 is 20, plus 10 more would be 30, 40 for 10 more, and then 6, so 46 pets altogether. And then the last one says, what fraction of all the pets were fish? Oh, fraction. Okay, so remember fraction is part over whole. So I think this one, if it threw you off, I don't think that it needs to. Thinking, okay, our part would be how many fish, and our whole would be all of the pets. And we already know how many pets there were total because we got 46. So our denominator is going to be 46 because that's the whole, right? Hopefully you can see these. So now we just need to figure out what our numerator is. So how many pets were fish? So what would we need to do to figure that numerator? Yeah, I think we just need to add up all the fish this time. So fish is the dark one, remember? Our best strategy is being careful. So 2 fish plus 10 fish would be 12, plus 8 more would be 20, plus 10 more would be 30. So 30 out of 46 of the pets were fish, so 30 46ths. You could simplify that because they both are even numbers, but I think it's okay in this case to just leave it as it is. All right, have a great day. I'll see you guys later.